Hi, guys, welcome to my podcast. My name is Toby, and today I'll be telling you guys a story of how I came to Lagos or what prompted me to be in Lagos at this point in time, I guess. If you've been a regular listener of this podcast, you would know that I have been trying to get admission or scholarship basically to study abroad, masters precisely. I've gotten quite a number of admissions, but no scholarship yet. So I've not been able to take any of my admissions. So within the pandemic, I may have also applied to a Nigerian school because during the heat of the pandemic, it was like nobody was sure what was happening. The borders were being closed. Nobody was allowed to fly or travel or do anything. So, and nobody knew for how long it was going to continue. So I thought, if all of us are stuck here in Nigeria, I might as well apply to a Nigerian school for whatever it is worth. And that was what led me to apply for my master's in Unilag. So I did that around, I think around this time last year or even earlier. I think around April, May last year. I cannot remember, but during that time, I put in the application, filled everything, and submitted, and that was it. Just forgot it like that. Unilag did not say anything. Me, I also forgot about them and like kept on doing other things that I was doing with my life. Fast forward to around March this year, between March and April, yeah, Unilag sent me an email that our aptitude test has been scheduled for those of us that applied last year. And I'm like, yo, it took you guys this long. So, aptitude test came, I wrote it, and that was it. No response. A few months down the line, I think around May, end of May, I got another email that my aggregate score, so I'm not sure if this is just the aptitude test score or there are other things they consider and formed an aggregate score, is about 66%, Abby. 66, Abby 61. I cannot even remember. So Unilag sent me an email that, my aggregate or whatever is around 60%. I'm like, okay, I do not know what to do with that information, but thank you for letting me know. Still nothing about admission. So because of that email, I was thinking, why would they send me just this? Oh, this is your score, nothing else. Nothing like, oh, maybe your score means you passed or you failed or anything about admission, nothing at all. And I was thinking, I started checking blogs and stuff, reading, and people were saying whether, oh, the admission list is out or something, check your portal. I tried logging into my portal, I couldn't. So I just left it that, okay, since they are sending emails, that maybe they might as well send me an email if anything, if maybe there's information on admission or stuff. So I left it like that. But unknown to me, I was not logging in with the proper username. I think I was using something else. So it was still telling me wrong password, wrong username, and all that. And I didn't know why I couldn't get access. But that kept on going until, again, I think a week or two later, I got another email that this is your score again and that your admission status says recommended. I'm like, what does that even mean? What do you mean that my admission status says recommended? So I still left it. I did nothing. I read the blogs. The blog said if your admission status says recommended, it means you have very high chances of getting admission. In fact, one of the blogs said once you get recommended, move to the school immediately, start attending lectures, don't wait for anything. So I'm like, yo, I do not I do not know. I just do not know. So I'm just going to keep calm and do nothing. But within this time, I was also being very troubled because I mean, assuming Unilag did not start sending me emails, I would not remember them. I would not remember that I put in admission anywhere to even think about it. So when like the emails started coming, I started thinking about it that oh, maybe even in Nigerian school I cannot get into that. What's all this? I started getting worried that oh, I'm going to lose this one too, and what's even my hope for doing like masters at all in geosciences or the environmental sciences. That I don't know. I started getting worried, very troubled, very tired. I was tired, really. That was the word. So one particular Sunday, one of my friends called me, Tayo. Shout out to you, Tayo. Tayo called me and said it's been a long time we spoke and he just felt he needed to talk to me that day. And truly, I needed that talk because I was sinking into what I do not know. I was sinking into a very deep state of sadness. Like I was sad and there was nothing that could be done about it. And this whole thing about maybe remembering, oh, I even put in Lagos last year and by this time this year I was not getting anything and stuff. I was just sad, a very sad person. So Tayo calls and we talk and talk. Tayo is a jester. He makes jokes for days. So Tayo calls me and he starts making jokes and I'm like, yo, don't disturb me, and like we talk about lots of things, and he was not asking me, oh, how far and all that, and I'm like, yo, I don't know about these things. Tayo was like, what do you mean? So I told him exactly what has happened. I've been getting these emails. The blog said, oh, if you get recommended, it means you've gotten the admission or you have very high chances. Then Tayo is like, yo, what he knows is that I've gotten the admission. I said I've not gotten anything. He was not like, what if you've gotten it and you don't know? I'm like, what do you even mean by that? He was like, yes, what if you've gotten the admission and you just do not know? And something like that has happened to him before where he had already gotten the admission, so he needed to just log into the portal to confirm the admission or to accept it, something like that. And it was not after the admission had expired that he knew, oh, he got admission somewhere, that I should go and check that what is wrong with me. I'm like, yo, what do you mean go and check? That they've been writing me emails. The first one was, oh, this is your score. Second one, this is your score. It means you're recommended. So if there's an admission letter, they should send me an email also to tell me this is your admission letter or you've gotten admission, stuff like that. Kaya was like, okay, but don't take it. Don't leave anything to chances. Go check. I ended the call with Tayo. It was a very long call, more than an hour long. I think I just went back to doing things I was doing. Things like maybe watching videos on my phone, YouTube, movies, anything I cannot remember. But by midnight, I still remembered what Tayo said. So I went on the internet. I was searching about Unilag, then trying to log into my portal. I could not. I'm like, what why can I not log into my portal? So I remember that after filling the admission form and submitting, there was a first email I received. So I went through my email history to look for the first mail I ever got from Unilag. So I did that. I found it and found my username. So immediately you submit, they'll send you, oh, you've submitted, blah, blah, blah. And this is your username and you can change your password. So they sent me my username and I found out that the one that was in my email was different from what I was using to put in, and they were telling me wrong username. So I finally used the correct thing and logged into my portal and it opened. The freaking portal opened. So right there and then I saw it that I should print my admission letter from there. I had actually gotten the admission. I printed my admission letter and that was it. And I'm supposed to be in the school within the next week to come for a physical screening. I'm like, yo, wow. So when this was happening, it was past midnight, so it was already Monday, 14th June, and I was supposed to be in the school. I don't know, by that Monday self, I should be in that school to start my clearance, but I was supposed to book ahead. Then I started thinking. So the truth is, I was awake throughout that night. I was awake. I was like searching everywhere on the internet, trying to like see what I can do, maybe accept admission, like read things. What is the physical clearance all about? How do I get to Lagos and stuff? But then the thing is, I was online trying to do those things but never did them. Throughout Monday, I was in shock that I got admission. Like I was like, yo, I got admission and I'm supposed to be in Lagos immediately. How do I do it? I was not even thinking how to achieve anything. I was just there thinking, yo, I have these things to do. I have no idea how to do it and I don't know what to do. The only thing I ended up doing was sending to my family group chat that I got admission. This is my admission letter. That was around 5 a.m. And my dad was already awake then, so he was the first to see it and was like, congrats. My sister the next person to say congrats? I cannot even remember. So that happened. Me and my dad were in the house together. So he came from his room to the room where I was staying and like, oh, I saw what you posted, congrats and all that. Find out what it would take for you to go to Lagos, blah blah. I'm like, fine. But throughout that Monday I did nothing really. I did not know what to do. It was on Tuesday I started like doing things. I'm like, okay, fine. If I'm to leave within next week or within the weekend, because I'm like, okay, fine, leave on Saturday, Sunday, anytime. I don't know. So between what do I need to do? I need to call some people and tell them that hey, I got admission. There are a few people I have to tell. There are some things I need to do, like end my lesson. At the time, I was still doing home lesson. So tell the people that, hey, I'm leaving for Lagos, so I have to end this now. And do a little more things. Tell the people that were my referees, Mr. Chibuzo and Professor Bruno, that thank you for standing in for me as my referees, and I got this opportunity. Also telling my fellow organizers of nascent community that hey, I mean, something new happened to me and this is it. So within the course of the week I did that. Between Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I did all those things. I do not remember in the order with which I did them, but I did them. So now when I got the admission, I told you guys my dad was already there to say congratulations, find out what you need, how much is school fees and all those things. No while my sister was the next to be like, hey, congrats, yes. I think my brother too. But then my mom my mom my mom called me in the morning. I think later in the morning. It was not as early as the 5 a.m. when I posted it, but quite late. I think 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. And she's like, oh, you said that you got admission. Anyway, congrats. And that congrats was not from a happy place. She was not okay, not from I won't say it was not from a happy place. It was not from an excited place, you know. When my dad was like, congrats, congrats, you could tell that he was excited. When my mom called, she was not excited about the admission. So she was happy for me, yes, her daughter achieved something, but she was not excited about the admission. She made it clear that our goal has always been to get you abroad and all that. You get admission, you go abroad for your masters, and Unilag is nothing like abroad. It is not even similar, you know. This was not the plan, and she wished we had something better than this, and I should still keep trying. That maybe I should accept the admission, but then I should keep applying for schools abroad. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that any longer. That I want to accept this admission and face it, whatever it will take. Know that I'm already in Unilag and put my head in Unilag and not saying, oh, I'm still like trying for more opportunities. That it's hard enough like applying the whole thing of writing essays and all those things, but what's even harder about applying for those opportunities is the uncertainty. You do not know for how long you're going to keep applying. You do not know if you're going to get it or not. You don't know if this is your last one or if you're going to put in energy into another application. There is no closure whatsoever. You know, it is so draining. It is so demoralizing. you spend money ordering transcript from your school and all those things, even time writing essays, like different essays for different reasons, and then you for some reasons you still come back again to repeat that process. It's very painful, and I'm like, I do not want to do that anymore. I just do not. And I accepted my Unilag admission, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to apply for anything abroad within this time. Or maybe I could, but it's not like putting all my energy into it anymore because it's draining. It's energy. You don't know how much you're going to keep going. And yeah, that happened. Now the next thing with that Unilag drama was where to stay. So I was going to do my screening, my physical screening the next week. I had to leave that weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. So where do I stay? Now the other time I went to Lagos, I stayed with my uncle, my mom's brother. I stayed in his house with my cousins and all that. So when this whole Lagos thing came up, my mom was like, "Oh, okay. Have you told your uncle Odi that you're coming?" If that day that she called me to talk about how not excited she is that I was getting the admission, you know. So and I'm like, I'm going to call him, whatever. The thing with it was I don't like not having options in life. I do not I do not like it. I do not like I mean, since I know myself, I've always like had to choose either not to choose what I don't want or to choose what I want. But there are always options, starting from secondary school, deciding if you'd be a science or art student. I chose the one I chose. Deciding to choose subjects, home economics and agric, business studies and PhD. I chose deciding to study geology. I chose it, putting it in my jam form. Even deciding to take this Unilag admission, like I made the decision, I chose. I mean, I could have said no, Nigerian school, they gave me the admission, I would not take it, but I chose to take it. So I love having options. That I remember when I told the story of how my dad found me a job and I decided not to take it. So the issue of, oh, you got admission, you're going to Lagos, and you automatically had to stay in your uncle's place, then sit down well with me. I'm like, I wish I had an option. I mean, there was nothing bad about staying at his place, but why did it have to be automatic? Oh, this is it. And I was not so excited about it. I was delaying calling my uncle. Yeah, that was it. My my mom would call me the next day. She'll be like on Wednesday, oh, have you called your uncle? I say no. On Thursday, have you called your uncle? I say no. Myself, I did not know what I was waiting for. I was thinking of like how to call him, but I wish like that was not the only option I had. I thought I had no other option. One day I went to meet my dad. I was like, okay, this is my plan, that I plan to go on Sunday, and this is it, this is that. And my dad says, where do you want to stay? And it had occurred to me that nobody asked me that question. My mom did not ask me, where do you want to stay or where are you going to stay? She just said, call your uncle and tell him you're coming to stay at his place. So, and at that point, that question was like, yo, there might as well be an option. And I sat back and thought, why is my mom being the bad cop in this whole admission thing? At first, she was not excited about the whole Unilag thing. And I mean, valid reasons. She thought her daughter would be going abroad, no wahala. And now, you have to stay in your, call your uncle, which is not a bad idea. I mean, that was where I would always stay when I went to Lagos. So this new thing of thinking, oh, I wish I had an option. She didn't know about it, but it's now like coming to me as if, oh, I wish. And my dad suddenly became the good cop. He was the one that was excited for me, and he's like, anything it would take, go find out. You're going to Unilag, and he's also like, oh, where do you want to stay, or where are you going to stay though? Asking me like he wants to get my opinion, my choice, my decision. And at that point I'm like, I don't know. I'm I don't understand if I have any other place to stay apart from uncle this place. And I mean, it's nice if I don't want to stay there, but it's nice if I also want to stay there. It's not too far from Unilag, but maybe it's also not too near to it. I was saying rubbish. complete rubbish. Like, if you had heard me, I was talking like a goat. And my dad was looking at me. That somehow he knew. I don't know. He was like, "Go and get my phone." I'm like, "Okay, who do you want to call? What are you doing?" He's like, "Go inside, go and get my phone for me." I'm like, "Okay." I got his phone and gave to him, and he starts calling somebody. I'm like, "Who are you calling?" He's like, "Your cousin Tochukwu. He stays in Lagos." I was like, "Oh my god, yes, yes." I totally forgot about Tochukwu and the fact that he stays in Lagos. And now it's as if, yes, I actually have an option. And it's been long. I saw Tochukwu. It's been freaking long. And I miss him. If you guys have been listening to my podcast in the episode of To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Tochukwu, that my cousin that I said he would always like tell me that he loves me, and maybe when he spends time with me he doesn't touch his phone, he's always there, fully present. He's the same Tochukwu my dad was talking about. And I'm like, yo, yes, I would want to see any opportunity to see my favorite cousin again. Yes, please. So I now became excited. So I had a choice all this while. And even without knowing that I did, somehow my dad knew I had a choice. And like he brought it to my notice, and even knew the choice I was going to make. He knew like the place I would rather stay out of like the two options I had, and he called my cousin there and then, and he didn't pick. Called him a second time, he didn't pick, and I'm like, "Yo, dad, leave it to me. Tochukwu is my person. I don't even know how it skipped my mind that that he stays in Lagos. Leave it to me. I'm going to call him and ask to come to his place." And yeah, so my dad is like, "Okay, no problems. I'll still call him later in the day and ask him if you can stay in his place. That is what you would prefer, right?" I said yes. Like, no problems. Would make it work. You would go and stay with your cousin Tochukwu. And yeah, that was it. So I'm going to end this episode here and continue in the next episode of actually going to Lagos and spending time with my darling cousin Tochukwu. So guys, bye. See you in the next episode.